Welcome back everybody. We're going to have a look at XRP and we're going to have a decent close look on XRP. And just to get it out of the way, I'm not one of those YouTubers that likes to shill XRP. I'm a trader and a technical analyst, right? So I like to look at all kinds of different coins, not even just coins, commodities, stocks, forex, the whole lot, right? So I just want to put it out there. I'm not one of those people that will just say anything about XRP just for the sake of it. And there's so many out there. It's kind of embarrassing actually when you look on YouTube. You know, it's hard to gauge what's really going on in such a pool of shillers. I'm not like that. Okay, I'm going to show you something tangible, something that is stripped down to its bare bones that anyone could really understand. And it's all good, all right. It's good. So like I say, all through last year, it's been pretty bad for XRP. But those other YouTubers have just been chilling it nonetheless, saying it's going to do X, Y, and Z, bringing up little articles saying this is going to. That's not how I work things, all right. There's actually some of the things I hate the most about cryptocurrency is news, all right. News is terrible. I don't like news. I can't account for news, all right. But the good thing about XRP, unlike all these other coins that come out, you know, that do 10x's within a year, all these ICOs, these IEO coins that get launched, yeah, they make big gains, right? But there's tiny charts. You can't say where it's going to go. It's a gamble. But with XRP, it's been around for quite a while, all right? It's not as old as Bitcoin, but it's been around for a while. And during that time, it's given us enough chart history to work out where it's come from, where it's likely to go. And the good news is I do believe it's going to surpass its all-time high, maybe by a fair bit, but I think it's going to get there. So let's have a look. Okay, it's enough rambling. Let's have a look at what's going on with it. So as you've all been aware, looking at this chart, it's not looked very good. In fact, it's looked pretty bad. Okay, but this is what charts look like when they break out, go parabolic, and basically do a 7,000% move, which is what XRP did. You know, 2017 it was 0.5%. By the beginning of the next year, and actually this took less than 6 months, it went from 0.5% to $3.50. It's going to need to cool down. Can you imagine the state of the RSI on a move like that? It's going to have to cool down. So the bigger the parabolic move, the longer it's going to take to cool down. And you've seen this with Bitcoin. It's not just XRP. Bitcoin has a trend like this. The chart doesn't look like this, but the trend does. Okay. And the good thing with XRP is it broke out of this descending trend before Bitcoin did. So it broke out of it here, and we had a 25% rally, and then obviously we crashed along with the rest of the world. All right, the rest of the world crashed like this. In fact, I would have said that this probably wasn't right before the move. It could have happened. You can see these indicators looking like they wanted to make a move, but it didn't, and so it's just very, very bad timing for XRP. So we could have perhaps maybe continued this if it wasn't for that situation that everything faced. Anyway, we crashed down, so that was done. So what do we have to do now? We have to analyze the chart once again. We broke out of it once again, and this time we've stayed above it. Okay, we came down to test it as support, that's fine. We closed above it, which is all very good, and we've kind of been going sort of sideways. And what this is here, this is what is called and what is known as accumulation. Okay, so the MACD on the daily doesn't look very good, but when you look at it on the weekly, it looks pretty good. So ever since this moment here, it's been accumulating, and now we're about to cross the 0 point, and a little early in my book actually. Maybe a little too early, in all fairness. We might be looking at a pullback, but I'm really going to stress not just the short-term time frames; they're kind of irrelevant. And what we're really looking for is tangible things we can hold on to for the long term, because we want to know if it's going to surpass its all-time high, and these are the things we're going to look at. So first of all, this all looks very good. This is all what I say accumulation phase. You get accumulation can last, you know, several months to maybe even up to a year before we start to see those really big bold moves, which is what XRP is likely to do, but not in the same way that other coins have done it historically. XRP likes to do those big runs. You know, sometimes the last one really took off in about 6 weeks. It just went crazy within about 6 weeks. So like I say, accumulation can take place anywhere from its low point here to I suppose its most recent high. But in all fairness, I'm going to call it accumulation anywhere between here and 86 cents. Right, that's all going to be accumulation. So you might think 86 cents. Sorry, that's what, you know, like a 3x from here. It is actually, but it's still all accumulation. So actually all of this area here, since the 86 cent was broken, which was basically these candle bodies here, and this is the Binance chart, so it's not been around that long on Binance, but I'll show you on TradingView shortly. Another reason why 86 cent matches up with that. This area here is going to be the end of accumulation, and that's where it's really going to launch. So buying it anywhere around from here to here, which is an enormous amount of room, just from where we are, that's 266%. So that's a big area to accumulate within. So all of this area has actually been accumulation. So maybe the shillers on YouTube were right after all, but again, patience is going to have to be your most important possession, aside from XRP when it comes to this chart. So we've seen that the MACD is getting ready to move into the 0 point. I kind of would say that this is likely to happen within a month, provided we don't drop. And anything could happen, we could drop, but look at what's happening here. If we close the week anywhere above this green 50 exponential, it's going to give that time to move up. Now that's a good moving average to be above. That could offer support, and if that offers support, then that means it's going to start to face up, and it's not faced up for a very, very long time. It's just been declining, and now we've got a slight move to the up on it, and if we get supported above it, then it's going to start to look pretty good. Okay, so again, all accumulation, but this is the start of perhaps maybe it's a trend reversal, it's a trend change, right? So weekly's looking good on the RSI, massive bullish divergence on that, showing that there's plenty of room to move, massive amounts of room to move. MACD is looking good, money flow index is perfectly fine, plenty of room to move on that. And again, this is weekly, so this is a very long-term time frame, but that's what we're in it for. Okay, we're in it for a long-term time frame. So what are we looking for now? We'll just have a quick look at the monthly, see if that says anything at all. RSI again on the monthly, looking very nice, very good indeed. So plenty of room to move on those indicators. Let's go to the daily. What do we have on the daily that we can go by? So again, moving averages mean a lot to me, and what we're seeing here is we're seeing a retest of the 200 exponential here a few days ago, and hopefully if that turns to support, which it looks like it has a very strong chance of being support, that will again cause an uptrend. And when did we last see an uptrend on the 200 exponential? Pretty much hardly ever. We saw a little bit of one here, and this is where everything was going up last year, so we saw a little bit one of that going on there, but we were still in the consolidation phase, which is now ended. So there's only so far that could go. On this occasion, we're coming into accumulation. We're out of that descending trend. We're in a new phase. So actually being supported above it here and seeing an uptrend on it here is likely to see a different style of move than to this little squiggly line here being rejected from the descending trend. So that again is all very bullish. If we and we've got our first little move on here, but again, that's a 200 exponential moving average, so it's a lagging indicator, okay, but it's also a very important moving average, one which basically dictates trend. And if we get supported above there and remain above there, then the trend has changed. If we drop down beneath there, it's not such a good thing, but we'll have to wait and see. And when this green 50 exponential crosses above there, that's your standard golden cross, that also indicates a bull trend, and staying above both of those is going to be good. So this is, like I say, it was still an accumulation. We're not predicting a 10x tomorrow or anything like that. But what we are saying is that the trend is looking to change, and it's in a very special time. So we'll just have a quick look at Bitcoin just to show you something. So Bitcoin again has been in that descending trend. Those who didn't know, essentially we're still consolidating from the parabolic top, just like I've shown you with XRP. XRP has been doing the same. XRP has broken out of that before Bitcoin and basically is accumulating at that level. Bitcoin has just broken out of that, was it 2 days ago, 3 days ago? And provided it stays above this descending trend, it will be technically in an accumulation phase of its own, and also telling us that we're now beginning a new trend, maybe a bull market trend. Okay, so it might all be going up from here. That might be it. We might not need to worry, and we could go down below 10,000. 10,000 to me doesn't really mean a great deal. It's more about this line here, and this line goes down more and more and more. So those who are waiting for it to drop, it could drop at any point, because this eventually will go to zero. So I'm not saying that there's not going to be another collapse. All of that could possibly happen, but what we're saying is something's changed. Okay, that the trend has changed. We're not consolidating in a different way. We're still way below the all-time high, but we've broken out of the consolidation phase, and we're now into a new phase, a new trend. Which is exactly what I'm getting at when I'm looking at XRP. So again, you've seen that with Bitcoin, and now you can see that we've rallied. We saw that with XRP when we broke out of it for the first time. We rallied and we came back down to test it. This is all completely plausible with Bitcoin. Don't expect Bitcoin to just go to the moon from here. It can quite easily come down to test this, and maybe I would say I kind of expect it to. I'd like to see it do that. I would like to see that happen. But let's move back to XRP. Okay, getting sidetracked. I just wanted to show you that Bitcoin has a similar trend, and actually XRP is ahead of it in that respect. They're two completely different coins with separate fundamentals, completely different in almost every way, but they share a common ancestor, which is the consolidation from the previous parabolic move, which happened at the same time for both of them. Let me catch my breath. So, where was I? The one thing to be aware of on XRP at the moment is that we have rallied significantly in a short space of time, and actually when we're looking at the RSI, it's extremely high, and so is the money flow index. In fact, that's so high that I wouldn't expect it to go much further at this point right now. Maybe blow off its top, get above 25 cent or so, and then it'll have to come down, because you rarely see a money flow index above that little white faded bit, if you can see that. I don't think I can bring that up anymore now. I can't, but basically it's extremely high. You don't really get moves that high without expecting it to come down. It can go a little higher, obviously, that's what I mean. It can go to maybe even 29 cent before it drops, but it will have to drop, and that'll be the precursor to that. You can see how this one moved right up to the very, very, very top and had to come right back down. It's a big blow off its top and came back down, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's getting dangerously high in the very short term, but this is nothing. We're talking about accumulation. So anywhere from as low as the trend, which is extremely low, like I say, at the moment it could go down to what, I've not got it extended, but it could go all the way back down to 10 cent, and I still wouldn't be worried because it'd be above that trend. Okay, so accumulation still taking place. Above the trend still taking place. All of that's great, and short term it looks a little bit maybe overextended, but could quite easily push and blow off its top to 29 cent or maybe even the low 30s. I know it sounds crazy, but it could happen. So what I've got here is a longer chart that's on TradingView, because Binance doesn't offer it doesn't actually show you the full extent of its parabolic move, where we came all the way up to this level here, which is $3.34, so pretty high. Okay, and you can see that this is just incredible. And actually, look at these little squiggly lines back here. You can see that this is where it's trading at half a cent. It was around about half a cent in March of 2017. Then it had its first rally, came back down, consolidated from that. You could call it consolidation from a big move there, and lost a reasonable amount of its money, about half of its value, and then just went completely bananas. Okay, that was, in all fairness, that was the biggest move of all the main coins during that period. It was just ridiculously high, and I've got some theories as to why that's happened, and also those theories would technically apply again, I believe. So what we've got here is a Fibonacci retracement, and we're looking at it on the weekly. So what we see here is an interesting thing, that all this red here technically, like I say, is the accumulation phase, and it leads us up to the 86 cent. That 86 cent also applies when you look at it on the Binance chart. This is where these two weekly candles closed on two occasions. This will be, and not only because these two weeklies closed, and that's where we really lost it. It's the Fib retracement tells us that during this red period, it's like an Ichimoku cloud. It's basically like a big cloud of technically thorough resistance. Okay, all of this area is going to be extremely slow and boring and hard to break out of, but once we do break out of it, it will be incredible. We will start to make decent, big, bold moves very quickly up to these next levels. Okay, and we're very far away from it at the moment. And where does it come up to? 87 cent. Now this could be a little off because it's such a large move that the Fib retracement, you can't pin it down to its absolute cent, but it's close enough for me. 86 cent, 87 cent. When we get that high, it's not really going to mean a great deal, but this is where it's going to start to move. So all of this red zone here, is accumulation, and in my book, worth buying. Any of this area is worth buying if you're looking to hold it. This is the investment, and I'm not a financial advisor, so none of that is financial advice. This is I believe that it's worth buying. Okay, because I'm in this for the long haul, and the long haul meaning it's likely to blow off its top at the same time that Bitcoin does that. Bitcoin's in a 4-year cycle due to end roughly around December 2021. So this is where we're likely to see the big move by then. So we've got about 18 months at this point now. During that 18-month period, I think the vast majority of that time we're going to spend during this red period here, this red zone. And once we break out of this red zone, we will start to see big moves similar to that to this. Now this is a weekly chart. Okay, so we were down here 1, 2, 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks for it to absolutely blow its top off completely and do a 10x in 3 weeks. You see that all the time with ICOs and other things on Binance, and you see it all the time with the really, really low cap coins. I mean, they could do that no problem. So if they can do it, why can't XRP do it? It can't do it at the moment because the circulating volume, the circulating supply is enormous. Okay, and the money that's in crypto is being basically redistributed within crypto. What it needs is new money, retail money or institutional money. It needs more money to go and do a move like that. But it's completely possible. It's absolutely possible. But it's not going to happen until there's more curiosity from retail investors, I'd probably say, and that's going to be at the end of the cycle high for Bitcoin. The reason I think it just went crazy at this level here is because it had gained a lot of attraction from retail investors because of no one's going to sit down and read all there is to know about all crypto, right? When there's a buzz, you make your decisions fast, okay? And a lot of people will make their decisions based on, first of all, price. Second of all, it would be credibility, and thirdly, it'll be panic. Okay, so and also it's pretty easy to pick this stuff up, right? You go on Coinbase, you bought it in 5 minutes. It's easy, it's available. And it's there for you. So there's 3 reasons why it's easy to buy, and a lot of people are going to want to get it. The same things will apply. Let's just think about this. I don't know how old you are, but if you were to say to your dad, have you heard of crypto? Do you want to buy it? It's going up. It's on the news. It was on BBC News. They were talking about it, saying, it's going crazy. It's time to invest. What do you think your dad's going to do? I know what my dad would do. He'd ask me what the hell is cryptocurrency, but he doesn't want to miss out on an investment, right? The vast majority of people out there they've probably heard of it, but they don't really know anything about it. But when it's being broadcasted on the mainstream for everybody to see, and it's being spoken about favourably again, everyone's going to want a little piece of that, and then they don't know they don't know their ass from their elbow. They don't know what's going on. So they're going to look at some of these coins, and God knows how expensive Bitcoin will be at that time. It'll probably be, I imagine we'll be talking about, at that time, maybe a Bitcoin maybe around about 30,000, 35,000, and climbing. People will look at that and go, well, I can't afford that. I'm not going to buy one of those. And they won't want to buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. It just won't. Psychologically, it doesn't feel good, and they probably won't think about the idea of it's not about what you own. It's about the percentage that it's likely to increase. A lot of people don't think about it like that. They'll think, I don't want to buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. What's the point of that? What can I buy? They'll probably look at Ethereum. Ethereum will probably be the same. Ethereum will be trading over $1,000, no doubt, and they'll think, I don't want to buy a fraction of an Ethereum, but it's still more attractive to a new time retail investor. But what's going to be more attractive? XRP, and they'll think, XRP was a brief summary. Google it. It's about banks, blah blah blah. That sounds alright. I'll go with that. That's the sort of logic that the newbie will apply to buying crypto for the first time, and that's why it's going to increase in value massively. that's why it will attract the most of the new retail investors. They'll look at it, they'll say, "Oh, I'll go with that. It's cheap, it's easy to buy." And blah blah blah. You see where I'm going from anyway. That's basically what the sort of psychology that went into this move. I'm pretty sure, and that psychology will apply all over again. So, what have we got to go by? So, just a quick summary. We've got very, very good bullish long-term MACD progression. Okay, the RSI on the monthly is unbelievably sweet. All right, there's plenty of room to go. It could easily go to its all-time high without even being topped out. We've got a Fibonacci retracement telling us that all of this area is worth buying it out, and you will definitely be happy when it launches. I'm not a financial advisor; it's not financial advice. But when we break above the 86 cent, that's when we'll start to see the really big moves. And like I say, when we go back in time, the big moves take place in a very short space of time, and you'll be happy because you invested your money during the accumulation phase, which is now, and technically has been, for 2 years. But really, we're at the bottom levels of the accumulation phase. So really, it's actually pretty sweet, pretty tasty. So that is my summary of XRP. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not an XRP shiller. I'm somebody that's just analysed this chart, looking at it as on a long-term projection, with just a few simple tools that all tell me that actually it's looking very good, provided that the market remains good. And the market now looks good because Bitcoin has made this move. It's only just made this move a couple of days ago. It's still early days, but it's telling me that the market appears to have gone into a new phase in general, dictated by Bitcoin, and the new phase has already been created by XRP, and we are in that accumulation phase. Short term's looking good, long term's looking great. I don't think that there's much to worry about when it comes to this. I think it's not a no-brainer, but I think it's a worthy investment. It's hard to trade this coin. It might be a little bit easier now that we've turned a corner, or certainly in a couple of weeks once we have these bullish crosses, we'll know where we stand. I'd like to see a retest of some of these levels, maybe 21 cent or thereabouts. A retest of the 200 exponential at some point would be very nice for me to see, and even better if we had that golden cross and we could retest just the green 50 exponential. That would be even better, because it would mean that first of all we've got the golden cross, we've gone bullish, and actually we're now only needing to retest the green 50 exponential or show extreme strength. So it's early days, like I say. Short term, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be looking at this constantly now. It's going to be one of my main coins to look at. I've got quite heavily invested in it now, and I'm trading it also on a more or less on a daily basis. So yeah, I hope that was in some way insightful and useful to you. Like I say, short term looks okay, maybe topped out. Long term looks brilliant. Okay, and that's all I've got to say about it. Anyway, I've got a Telegram chat. If you want to join that, speak to me on that. We look at all kinds of coins, not just me on there. There's loads of other people on there with a whole range of skills. Really useful chat to be part of. And yeah, I also accept donations, but there's no point in begging for that. You give it to me if you find value, and if you don't, your money's probably better off in your wallet. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.